Okay, so we are going to do polynomial functions, but before we get to polynomial functions, it is good to know a monomial, a binomial, a trinomial, and so forth. A monomial is just an expression with one term. So it could be just a constant, it could be a number, it could be a bunch of variables multiplied together. So (6a²b) is a monomial because you just have one term. Yes. So I could have 2x plus 5. 2x², that is a single term, so that would be a monomial. So nothing added or subtracted to it. So if I have two terms, that expression is a binomial because we have two terms in it. It could be a plus, it could be minus, but as long as you have two terms, it is called a binomial. Now, if you have to take a guess as to what a trinomial is, what would you say? Three terms. So 4x² plus x plus 4 is a trinomial because it has three terms. Now, this example and that example, they simply have one variable, which is x. So there I have two variables, and there I simply have one variable. As far as this class is concerned, you could have one or two variables or more, but we're going to deal with trinomials, binomials, using variables a, b, x, y, and so forth. That would bring us to a polynomial. So polynomial simply means it has more than three terms. By default, a polynomial, when we refer to a polynomial, it includes a binomial, a trinomial, monomial, and so forth. The general form of a polynomial function is a sub n multiplied by x raised n plus a n minus 1 x raised n minus 1 a n minus 2 x raised n minus 2 ... a2 x², and if you have to take a guess, what should the next one be? Look at these. From n I went to n minus 1, n minus 1 to n minus 2, n to n minus 1, n minus 1 to n minus 2. So what should the next one be? N minus 3, that's over here. That's over here. So n, right? N minus 1. How many did I take away? 1. N minus 1 to n minus 2. How many did I take away? From here to there. Go ahead. I decreased by 1, correct? So I have a 2. What should the next one be? A1. A1. X raised 2 decreased by 1. 2 minus 1 is just 1. But x raised 1 is x. So we don't have to specify that one. What about the next term? A. What did you say? 0. And x raised 0. Any variable raised to the power of 0 is 1. So I don't have to specify that either. Good. So that is an nth degree polynomial. Why? The very first term starts with the degree n, and that is the biggest value because n minus 1 is definitely less than n minus 2 is definitely less than n. So the largest power that I have is n. So the degree here is n, the largest power that you see in the expression. So you may ask me, well, what are these numbers? A sub n minus 1, a sub n minus 2. They're all constants, they're just real numbers. By constants, we simply mean numbers. Does that make sense? So, based on that definition, could I call this trinomial a polynomial? Yes? Yeah. Why? Alison? Why? Okay. Does this fit the pattern over here? No. How about I'll write that as a2x squared plus a1x plus a0. Good. Do you agree that the powers of x are decreasing by 1? Yes. Got to say something, yes or no? Yes. What is the value of a2? There is an arrow pointing there. Is it 4x squared? I just want to know the value of a2. 4. 4. What is the value of a1? 1. What is the value of a0? 4. So this is actually a polynomial. And what is the degree of this polynomial? 2. 2. Good. Are we clear? Yes. Okay. So if you notice that when I wrote this, I always wrote in decreasing powers of x, and that is just how we write this, decreasing powers of x. Now, the same concept applies to trinomials and binomials also. Is that a monomial, binomial, trinomial, or polynomial? It's a monomial. And we want to find the degree. So it's the sum of all powers of different variables. So if we have just one variable, we will pick its power and call it the degree. But here, since I have two different variables, degree of one, add them together, it is of degree 2. Good. How many terms do we have?
2.
2. Is this a monomial, binomial, or trinomial?
Binomial.
It's a binomial. There are 2 terms. There are 2 variables. So what is the degree of the first term?
2.
Degree of the second term? Did you say 2 or 3?
I said 2.
Is it 2 or 3?
2.
It's 3.
Why would
So 2 plus 1. Different variables.
Oh, when it's split like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
So what about when it's 2? The second term? Still 3, right? 1 there, 2, 1 plus 2, 3. So those are the degrees of the term. The degree of the polynomial is simply the maximum of the values that you write down, or the highest value. What is the maximum of 3 and 3? 3. So the degree of the binomial is simply 3. Good.
Why wouldn't you add that?
Okay.
Why wouldn't you add it?
Because we are simply looking at the pounds, right? So if it were to be that would be 6, because you have 3 variables and you're adding your individual pounds. A squared plus 2a plus 5. Is that a polynomial? Well, it is. But is it a monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Trinomial, I've got 3 terms. What is the degree of the first term? Degree of the second term? 1. Degree of the last term? You can't see it, right? It's not there. But what if I wrote it as a raised 0? It's 1. So a raised 0 is 1, so the third term has a degree of 0. What is the degree of the polynomial? 2. It is the maximum of the 3, so it is 2. Good. I'll do 1 more, and then I'll let you guys try 1. How many terms do we have? 3. So is this a monomial, binomial, trinomial? It's a trinomial. The first term. What is the degree of the first term? 4. I have two different variables, so I've got to add their individual powers. 2 plus 2, 4. What about the second term? 3. What about the third term? 2. And finally, what is the degree of the trinomial? 4. It is 4. How many terms do we have? 2. So this is binomial. What is the degree of the first term? So 2, 1, 2 plus 1, 3. I just had 1 there, so 1. The maximum or the highest of the two values would be the degree of the binomial. So we have 3. Yes. Is that a binomial or a trinomial? It's a binomial. So 2 variables, so 1, 1, add them together. So the degree for that term is 2. What about the degree for number 4? It's 0. So you only look at the degree of a variable. 4 is not a variable, it is a number, it's a constant. So that degree is 0. So the final degree would be 2. How many terms do we have? 4. Is that a binomial, trinomial, polynomial? The polynomial. What is the degree of the first term? 3. Second term? 2.
1, 0.
Maximum of the 4 degrees would be the degree of the polynomial. So degree here is 3. Is that expression a polynomial? Yes, more than 3. But how many variables does it have?
3.
3 variables.
4. No, just 1.
Just 1. It has 4 terms, but only 1 variable. And what is that 1 variable?
3x.
3x.
Oh, x.
X by itself. X is the variable here. So the degree is 4 for the first term, for the second. And the maximum or the highest of all degrees would be the degree of the polynomial. So it is 4. Is that a binomial, trinomial, polynomial, monomial? Monomial. There is only 1 degree we have, and what is that? 5. So 1 plus 4, I get 5. Good. Trinomial, binomial, polynomial. Degree of the first term, 6. 2 variables, so I'm going to add their powers. Degree of the second term, degree of the number 7, 0. Maximum of the 3, 6. Is the first function a polynomial? No. So is it a trinomial?
Yes.
Yes. So by the looks of it, it is a trinomial, but that is actually a polynomial also. Remember, I mentioned earlier that we like to write things in decreasing powers of x, right? So I have 4x cubed. What is the next power for x that I need to see, or I should see, but it's not there? 2. So I can't just throw that in there. I can write it as 0 multiplied by x squared. Yes. What is 0 multiplied by x squared? Still 0. Minus x plus 4. So is that a trinomial? Yes. But is it a polynomial? Yes. What is the degree of the polynomial? 3. The highest power is 3. In a problem like this, I strongly recommend that you put parentheses around the x so that you don't make any mistakes. Once you have enough practice, you don't have to. So I'm simply plugging in x is equal to 1. So 4 times 1 cubed, 0 times 1 squared, minus 1 plus 4. 1 cubed is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. That term is 0. Minus 1 plus 4. So we have 8 minus 1, which is 8 minus 1.
Oh, sorry.
That's an easy question. We want to find h of minus 2. H, is that a polynomial?
Yes.
What is the degree of the polynomial? 4. What is the first thing that you should do before you plug in the value of x?
Put in decreasing power.
Okay, and put the x's in parentheses. It is good practice so that you don't make any mistakes. If you're comfortable in evaluating without putting parentheses, it's all good as long as you get the correct answer. If you do it this way, especially with negative numbers, the chances that you make a mistake is low. So we would want to evaluate that polynomial at x is equal to negative 2. Excuse me, negative 2 raised 4 to negative 2 raised 3, negative 2 for x, negative 2 raised 2, negative 2 for x, negative 2, and then negative 5. Yes. What is negative 2 raised 4? Is it positive 16 or negative 16?
Positive.
Why?
Because it's even.
It's what's even?
Exponent.
The exponent is even. So 5 times 16 to negative 2 cubed, negative 8, because the exponent is odd, negative 2 squared, and then negative 2, negative 5. Good. So 80 minus 16 plus 4 minus 7. Which is 84 minus 23. So the answer is 61.